Pause for a moment and consider a question that could fundamentally alter your perspective on life. Relationships and power. Do you believe that being good, kind, generous, honest, and compassionate guarantees safety, respect, or loyalty? Do you assume that your virtuous actions will naturally build a protective shield around you, earning you admiration and security in a world that rewards integrity? If these beliefs resonate with you, you're about to confront one of the most profound and unsettling truths about human nature. A truth that society rarely acknowledges, but one that Niccolò Machiavelli, the Renaissance philosopher, understood with piercing clarity. The idea that goodness alone ensures success or protection is a comforting but dangerous myth, one that can leave you vulnerable, exploited, and powerless in a world that often rewards cunning over kindness. This exploration is not about abandoning your values or embracing ruthlessness. Instead, it's about transforming your goodness from a potential weakness into a powerful tool for influence, respect, and lasting impact. Drawing on Machiavelli's observations in The Prince and other works, we'll uncover the shocking cost of blind goodness, how it can erode your relationships, derail your career, and sabotage your dreams. More importantly, we'll explore how to wield your virtues strategically, ensuring they serve your goals rather than undermine them. Through 8 transformative truths, supported by historical and contemporary examples, psychological principles, and practical strategies, you'll learn why kindness can make you vulnerable, why generosity often breeds entitlement, and how to turn your goodness into a source of strength. This is not a call to become cold or manipulative, it's a call to be wise, intentional, and powerful in a world that demands both compassion and cunning. From childhood, we're taught a simple narrative: be good, and good things will happen to you. Kindness will earn you friends, generosity will build loyalty, and honesty will command respect. This fairy tale version of morality is deeply ingrained, reinforced by stories, religions, and cultural norms. But here's the brutal reality that Machiavelli observed centuries ago: goodness, when applied without strategy, is not a shield, it's a flame that can consume everything you've built. Your relationships, your professional aspiration, your personal well-being, all can be eroded by unchecked kindness in a world filled with ambition, deceit, and self-interest. Machiavelli, a keen observer of human behavior and power dynamics, witnessed the downfall of virtuous leaders who trusted too much, gave too freely, and failed to protect themselves. He saw kind rulers betrayed by those they helped, generous patrons exploited by their beneficiaries, and honest individuals silenced by those who preferred lies. His writings distill a stark warning: in a world of wolves, acting like a sheep, always accommodating, always trusting, invites destruction. This doesn't mean you should abandon your principles or adopt a cynical worldview. Instead, it means recognizing that goodness must be tempered with strategy to survive and thrive. Consider the modern workplace, where the colleague who always takes on extra tasks is rarely promoted. They're seen as reliable, but not authoritative. In friendships, the person who always says yes is often taken for granted, their generosity expected rather than appreciated. Even in families, those who sacrifice their own needs to keep the peace are often overlooked, their efforts invisible until they falter. Machiavelli's insights, though rooted in the political intrigues of Renaissance Italy, remain strikingly relevant today. His philosophy isn't about rejecting virtue, it's about wielding it with precision, ensuring it serves your goals rather than exposing you to exploitation. In the sections that follow, we'll explore 8 key truths about the cost of blind goodness and how to transform it into a source of power. Each truth is supported by historical and contemporary examples, psychological principles, and practical strategies to help you navigate a world that doesn't always reward kindness. By the end, you'll have a roadmap for mastering strategic goodness, ensuring your virtues amplify your influence rather than diminish it. Think about the kindest person you know, someone who always goes out of their way to help, who never says no, who prioritizes others' needs above their own. Now ask yourself, are they truly respected? Or are they the person everyone turns to when they need something? More often than not, the kindest individuals are seen as dependable but not powerful, reliable but not revered. This is because unchecked kindness makes you predictable, And predictability is a liability in a world where self-interest often trumps gratitude. When you're consistently kind, people begin to see you as a resource rather than a person with your own needs and boundaries. They know you won't push back, won't say no, won't prioritize yourself. You become the colleague who takes on extra work without complaint, the friend who always covers the bill, or the family member who sacrifices their own goals to keep everyone else happy. This dynamic isn't just unfair, it's dangerous. It signals to others that you can be pushed around, taken advantage of, and disregarded when your usefulness wanes. Machiavelli observed this in the political sphere, where rulers who were too lenient were often overthrown by those they trusted. He wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves." In other words, surviving in a competitive world requires both cunning to spot dangers and strength to deter threats. If you act like a sheep, always accommodating, always predictable, you invite exploitation. Consider the story of Anna, a mid-level manager I once worked with. Anna was the epitome of kindness. She stayed late to help her team meet deadlines, covered for their mistakes, and always put their needs first. Her team loved her at first, but over time, her generosity became expected. When a promotion opportunity rose, the company chose a less accommodating but more assertive colleague. Why? Because Anna's kindness was mistaken for a lack of leadership. Her team didn't respect her, they relied on her. Her selflessness signaled weakness, not strength. This pattern plays out everywhere. In friendships, the person who always says yes becomes the default problem solver, their efforts taken for granted. In families, the one who always sacrifices becomes invisible until they can't help anymore. Psychologically, this stems from a concept called expectation anchoring. When people grow accustomed to your kindness, they stop valuing it. They assume it's your default state, not a choice that costs you time, energy, or resources. This can lead to a cycle of overgiving, where you feel obligated to maintain your kindness to avoid disappointing others, even at the cost of your own well-being. To break this cycle, you must adopt a mindset of strategic self-preservation. This doesn't mean becoming selfish, it means setting boundaries that ensure your kindness doesn't leave you vulnerable. Before agreeing to a request, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my priorities? Will it deplete me? Is this person likely to reciprocate or respect my effort? If the answer to any of these is no, decline politely but firmly. By doing so, you signal that your time and energy are valuable, discouraging those who might exploit you. For example, imagine you're asked to take on an extra project at work. Instead of automatically saying yes, pause and evaluate. If the project aligns with your career goals and you have the capacity, consider accepting but negotiate for recognition, such as a mention in a meeting or a step toward a promotion. If it's a distraction from your priorities, say, "I'd love to help, but my current commitments don't allow it. Let's find another way to move this forward." This approach preserves your energy while maintaining professionalism. Adopt this affirmation. I protect my energy. Write it down. Repeat it and let it guide your decisions. This mindset empowers you to prioritize your own strength, ensuring your kindness serves as a tool for connection rather than a point of exposure. By balancing compassion with self-respect, you become a force to be reckoned with, not a doormat to be stepped on. Here's a counterintuitive truth that might challenge your worldview. The more you give, the less people appreciate it. Generosity feels rewarding in the moment people praise you, thank you, and celebrate your selflessness. But over time, this dynamic shifts in a way that's both subtle and insidious. Your generosity, when given too freely, fosters dependency, entitlement, and even resentment. What begins as gratitude transforms into expectation, and any deviation from your usual giving, any moment you say no, casts you as the villain. Imagine a parent who always gives their child everything they want. The first gift sparks joy and gratitude. The second is appreciated but less exciting. By the 10th gift, the child expects it, and the absence of a gift prompts anger or accusations of unfairness. This pattern, known as hedonic adaptation, explains why humans quickly normalize positive experiences. The same dynamic plays out in adult relationships. If you always pay for dinner, drive friends around, or help colleagues with their work, your generosity becomes invisible. People stop saying thank you, they assume it's just what you do. And when you set a boundary or ask for reciprocity, they're suddenly unavailable or offended. Consider the case of Mark, a freelancer who always went above and beyond for his clients. He'd deliver projects early, throw in extra features for free, and respond to emails at all hours. At first, his clients were thrilled, showering him with praise and referrals. But over time, they stopped appreciating his extra efforts. They expected them. When Mark tried to set boundaries, charging for additional work or taking time off, clients became upset, accusing him of being unprofessional. His generosity had trained them to see his extra effort as an obligation, not a gift. This phenomenon isn't unique to Mark. In workplaces, the employee who always stays late or takes on extra tasks becomes the default choice for grunt work. Their efforts no longer celebrated. In friendships, the person who always picks up the tab or helps with favors becomes expected to continue, and any pause in their giving sparks resentment. Even in romantic relationships, constant compromise can lead to a dynamic where one partner's needs are consistently sidelined, their sacrifices taken for granted until they push back. Machiavelli understood this when he advised, benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better. Scarcity creates value. Abundance diminishes it. When you give too freely, your generosity loses its impact. Psychologically, this ties to the concept of diminishing returns in human relationships. The more you give, the less each act is valued. Over time, people stop seeing your kindness as exceptional, they see it as their entitlement. This can lead to a dangerous cycle where you feel trapped by others' expectations, unable to say no without risking conflict or guilt. To avoid this generosity trap, adopt a strategic approach to giving. This doesn't mean withholding help, it means being intentional about when, how, and to whom you give. Focus on quality over quantity. Instead of helping everyone a little, make a significant impact for a few key individuals who align with your values and respect your efforts. For example, if you're mentoring a colleague, don't offer unlimited support, set specific times for guidance and encourage them to take initiative. This preserves your energy and ensures your help remains valuable. Another strategy is to set clear expectations upfront. If you're helping a friend move, say, I'm happy to help this time, but I won't be able to make it a regular thing. This sets a boundary while still showing kindness. In professional settings, negotiate reciprocity. If you're taking on extra work, ask for something in return, like visibility on a project or flexibility in your schedule. These small adjustments shift the dynamic from one-sided giving to mutual respect. Adopt this affirmation. I give strategically. This mindset encourages you to evaluate each act of generosity through the lens of impact and sustainability. By giving selectively, you ensure your kindness retains its power, fosters genuine appreciation, and builds relationships based on mutual respect rather than dependency. Here's an uncomfortable truth. Society values appearances more than reality. People don't judge you based on your heart, they judge you based on your image. A leader who appears kind but makes tough decisions behind closed doors is often more respected than one who is genuinely kind but appears weak. Machiavelli recognized this when he wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. To maintain power and influence, you must master the art of perception, wearing the mask of virtue while retaining control beneath the surface. This doesn't mean being deceitful, it means being strategic about how to present yourself. Successful leaders, from CEOs to politicians, understand this balance. They project warmth and compassion in public, but make calculated decisions in private. They show mercy when it strengthens their position and assert strength when it's necessary. Consider a doctor performing surgery. The act of cutting a patient open might seem harsh, but it's done to save a life. Similarly, a leader might make an unpopular decision, saying no to a request or enforcing a boundary to achieve a greater good. Take the example of a historical figure like Abraham Lincoln. Known for his compassion and moral integrity, Lincoln was also a shrewd strategist who made tough calls during the Civil War. such as suspending habeas corpus to maintain national security. His public image as Honest Abe inspired trust, but his private decisions were calculated to preserve the Union. He understood that perception shapes reality. Appearing virtuous while acting decisively allowed him to maintain power and effect change. In contrast, many kind people make the mistake of wearing their hearts on their sleeves, revealing their vulnerabilities to those who might exploit them. They show weakness to adversaries and reserve strength for friends, which leaves them exposed. Strategic individuals do the opposite. They project strength to potential threats and reserve kindness for those who earn it. This isn't about being fake, it's about timing. Knowing when to show softness and when to show steel is the key to maintaining respect and influence. In practice, this means being mindful of how others perceive your actions. If you're in a negotiation, for example, present yourself as confident and assertive, even if you're open to compromise. In a workplace conflict, listen empathetically, but don't hesitate to set firm boundaries if someone oversteps. By controlling your image, you ensure that your kindness is seen as a choice, not a default. Adopt this affirmation. I control my image. This mindset empowers you to shape how others perceive you, balancing compassion with authority. By mastering the art of perception, you protect your power and ensure your goodness serves your goals rather than undermining them. Every act of kindness has a cost. Your time, energy, and resources are finite. When you give them away without discernment, you deplete yourself, leaving little for your own goals or well-being. Many good-hearted people overlook this, believing that giving endlessly is noble. But the reality is stark. Unlimited kindness drains your strength, leaving you exhausted, resentful, and vulnerable. Think of it like an airplane safety instruction. You're told to put on your own oxygen mask before helping others. Why? Because if you pass out while trying to assist someone else, you both suffer. Life operates on the same principle. If you exhaust yourself helping others, you become a burden rather than a blessing. I learned this lesson personally after years of saying yes to every request, from quick favors to time-consuming projects. I thought I was being helpful, but I grew bitter. My own goals suffered, and I had less to offer those who truly needed me. Machiavelli's insight applies here. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You cannot lead or help others effectively if you cannot command your own resources. The most impactful individuals in history, philanthropists, leaders, innovators, didn't say yes to everything. They said no to most things, reserving their energy for the causes that mattered most. Take Andrew Carnegie, the industrialist and philanthropist. Carnegie didn't give indiscriminately. He focused his wealth on transformative projects, like libraries and universities, ensuring his generosity created lasting impact. To protect your resources, adopt a disciplined approach to decision-making. Before saying yes, evaluate the cost to your time, energy, and goals. If a request doesn't align with your priorities, decline it tactfully. For example, if a colleague asks for help on a low-priority task, say, "I'd love to assist, but I'm focused on specific goal. Can we find another solution?" This preserves your resources while maintaining professionalism. Another strategy is to batch your giving. Instead of responding to every request as it comes, set aside specific times for helping others. For instance, dedicate one afternoon a week to mentoring or volunteering, ensuring your generosity fits within your schedule. This approach allows you to give meaningfully without draining yourself. Adopt this affirmation: I protect my resources. This mindset empowers you to prioritize your own growth and sustainability, ensuring you can give meaningfully when it counts. By guarding your time and energy, you become a sustainable source of support, not a depleted one. I'm not suggesting you abandon kindness, generosity, or honesty. Instead, I'm urging you to use these virtues like a skilled warrior wields a sword precisely, intentionally, and at the right moment. A sword left on a shelf protects no one, but in the hands of a master, it can defend a kingdom. Your goodness should function the same way: deliberate, focused, and aligned with your goals. For example, instead of helping everyone a little, focus on making a significant impact for a few key individuals who align with your values. Instead of being nice to everyone, reserve your exceptional kindness for those who respect it. Instead of saying yes to every request, Say yes powerfully to opportunities that advance your mission. This approach has 3 benefits. It makes your help more valuable because it's scarce. It creates greater impact because it's focused. And it earns your respect because it's selective. Historical figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Mother Teresa exemplify strategic virtue. King didn't shy away from confronting injustice with force and clarity, focusing his efforts on systemic change rather than universal approval. Mother Teresa didn't spread her efforts thinly across the world. She concentrated on serving the poorest communities with unmatched dedication. Their goodness was powerful because it was strategic. In practice, strategic virtue means aligning your actions with your long-term goals. Before agreeing to a request, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without depleting myself? Will this person appreciate and respect what I'm doing? Asterisk if the answer to any of these is no, decline kindly but firmly. When you say yes, give your all, ensuring your actions create meaningful impact. For example, if you're mentoring someone, don't offer open-ended support. Set clear goals for the mentorship, such as helping them achieve a specific skill or milestone. If you're volunteering, choose causes that resonate with your values and where your contribution can make a tangible difference. By focusing your efforts, you amplify your impact and earn greater respect. Adopt this affirmation: I choose effective kindness. This mindset encourages you to use your virtues as tools for change, not as ways to be liked. By being strategic, you ensure your goodness creates lasting value rather than fleeting appreciation. Here's a psychological truth that might sting: gratitude is fleeting. The favors you do, the sacrifices you make, the help you provide, they all have an expiration date in people's minds. When you help someone repeatedly, their gratitude diminishes, and your kindness becomes an expectation. This isn't because people are inherently ungrateful, it's because of human psychology. We adapt to positive experiences, taking them for granted over time. Consider a neighbor you help move. The first time, they're effusive with thanks. The second time, they're still appreciative but less enthusiastic. By the 3rd or 4th time, they don't even ask, they assume you'll show up. If you can't help, you're suddenly the selfish one. This pattern repeats in every sphere of life: the colleague who expects you to cover their work, the friend who assumes you'll always be available, the family member who takes your sacrifices for granted. Machiavelli noted, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand." People focus on your current actions, not your past kindness. This ties to the psychological concept of the availability heuristic, where people prioritize recent events over historical ones. Your past generosity fades from memory, but your refusal to help stands out like a red flag. To counter this, be selective with your help. Set boundaries and let others experience life without your constant support. For example, if you always help a friend with errands, take a step back and let them handle it themselves occasionally. This reminds them of the value of your help. In the workplace, don't always volunteer for extra tasks, let others step up, ensuring your contributions remain special. Another strategy is to make your help conditional at times. If you're helping a colleague, say, "I can assist with this, but I'll need your support on specific task in return." This fosters mutual respect and prevents your kindness from being taken for granted. Adopt this affirmation: I create lasting impact. This mindset encourages you to prioritize meaningful contributions over habitual giving, ensuring your kindness is remembered and valued. The world doesn't reward good intentions, it rewards results. You might have the purest motives, but if your actions don't produce meaningful outcomes, they're forgotten. History remembers those who achieved, not those who meant well. A parent who disciplines their child, a teacher who gives tough feedback, a leader who makes hard choices. They're not always liked in the moment, but their actions create lasting positive change. Many kind people prioritize being liked over being effective, choosing comfort over growth. But true goodness requires courage to prioritize outcomes over appearances. Consider Nelson Mandela, who combined compassion with strategic resolve. His willingness to negotiate with adversaries and make tough decisions during South Africa's transition from apartheid was not always popular, but it led to lasting change. In practice, this means focusing on impact rather than approval. Before acting, Ask yourself, asterisk, will this action make things better, even if it's uncomfortable? Asterisk, if you're giving feedback, don't sugarcoat it, be honest and constructive. If you're leading a team, set high standards, even if it means being seen as demanding. These choices may not win immediate popularity, but they create meaningful results. Adopt this affirmation. Asterisk, I focus on outcomes. Asterisk, this mindset empowers you to prioritize effectiveness over likability. Ensuring your goodness drives real change. Ultimately, your legacy is defined not by how nice you were, but by what you achieved. History doesn't celebrate the merely kind, it honors those who survived, thrived, and left a mark. To create a lasting impact, you must first protect yourself. This means setting boundaries, prioritizing your own growth, and being strategic about your goodness. Think of figures like Steve Jobs, who wasn't always likable but transformed the world through innovation. His legacy endures because he was strategic, not because he was universally loved. Machiavelli's advice, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both," underscores the importance of respect over affection. Strength enables you to be good when it matters most. In practice, this means building resilience and resources so you can give effectively. Invest in your skills, health, and relationships to ensure you have the capacity to make a difference. Say no to distractions and yes to opportunities that align with your vision. By prioritizing your own strength, you create the foundation for a meaningful legacy. Adopt this affirmation. Asterisk, I master strategic goodness. Asterisk, this mindset empowers you to balance compassion with power. Ensuring your goodness creates lasting impact. Blind goodness is a trap that leaves you vulnerable, drained, and unappreciated. But when wielded strategically, your kindness, generosity, and honesty become tools for influence, respect, and impact. By protecting your energy, giving selectively, controlling your image, and prioritizing results, you can transform your virtues into a source of power. The choice is yours. Will you let goodness weaken you, or will you master it to create a legacy that matters? In a world of wolves, don't be a sheep, be a shepherd, guiding with wisdom, strength, and strategic virtue.